There are places in our solar system man was never meant to go, not because of the distance, or the cold, or the radiation, but because some places are tombs, and some tombs should never be opened. We learned that lesson the hard way, 4.5 billion kilometers from home, on the frozen, nitrogen-spewing surface of Triton, Neptune's largest moon. My name is Jorik, and I'm a geocore drilling specialist for Hexadrill, a corporation whose hunger for rare isotopes was matched only by its disregard for its employees' long-term sanity. My job was to lead a small, isolated team, drill deep into planetary bodies, and extract exotic materials that fueled Earth's fusion reactors. It's a lonely, monotonous, but incredibly lucrative job that attracts a very specific kind of person, the kind who is running from something back home. Our home, for a one-year rotation, was Outpost 3, a small, pressurized habitat half buried in the nitrogen ice of Triton's southern pole. There were 4 of us, a mismatched quartet of specialists. I was the team lead, the pragmatist. Anya was our sharp-witted geologist, able to read the history of a world in a single rock sample. Ben was our quiet, meticulous drone pilot, his hands more comfortable on a control stick than in a handshake. And then there was Dr. Elias Thorne, the company-mandated biologist, a quiet, perpetually thoughtful man, sent to make sure we didn't accidentally contaminate or get contaminated by anything interesting. He was our corporate babysitter. For 6 long months, our lives were a cycle of mind-numbing routine, drilling, analyzing core samples, running diagnostics, and staring out at the cantaloupe-like terrain of Triton under the faint, distant light of a sun that was just another bright star. The only notable feature of our landscape was the geysers, massive, silent plumes of nitrogen gas and dark ice erupting from the moon's surface, a ghostly ballet in the near-total darkness. It was a dead, frozen, and deeply silent world. The Anomaly appeared on day 187. We were drilling at a new site, designated Site Gamma, chosen by Anya for its unusual subsurface density readings. At precisely 800 meters below the surface, our multi-million-dollar diamond-tipped drill bit whined to a halt. Alarms blared through the outpost, a jarring intrusion into our usual quiet. "Jorik, you need to see this." Anya's voice crackled over the comms from the geology lab, her usual calm tone replaced with a sharp edge of excitement. "The drill's integrity is at 98%, but it's not making a dent. The subsurface scanner is picking up an object. It's not rock. It's not metallic ice. The density readings are impossible. They're off the charts. It's perfectly symmetrical, and it's absorbing all sensor waves we throw at it. It's a perfect stealth object, a perfectly symmetrical, sensor-proof object, buried half a mile under the ice of a moon where nothing more complex than frozen methane should exist. That was a discovery that could make us legends, our names written in history books. Or it could get us killed, our names added to a long list of corporate casualties. The decision, however, was unanimous. We had to see it. For the next 3 days, a palpable energy filled the outpost. The monotony was shattered. We used every tool at our disposal. We repurposed the main drill with a high-powered thermal lance, a risky maneuver that could destabilize the ice shelf, and began to slowly melt the ice around the object. Then, our pilot became the star of the show, sending down a series of small, camera-equipped drones through the widening, steaming borehole. The first images that came back were grainy and indistinct, obscured by the melting slush and vapor. We saw only a vast, dark shape. But as the cavern grew and Ben expertly maneuvered a drone closer, the view became clearer. What we saw on the main screen in the command center made the 4 of us fall into a stunned silence. It was a ship, or something that our human brains could only interpret as a ship. It was jet black, shaped like a sharp, elongated seed pod or a shard of obsidian. Its surface was made of a material that seemed to drink the light from our drone's lamps, a matte, non-reflective black that was absolute. It was covered in sharp angles and flowing curves that felt both organic and artificial, as if it had been grown rather than built. It was ancient, clearly not man-made, and it was wedged deep in the ice, silent and dormant. "There are no signs of a crash," Ben said, his voice a hushed whisper, his eyes glued to the drone feed. "No impact crater, no debris field. It's like the ice formed around it, as if it's been here for millions of years, before Triton was even captured by Neptune." The corporation, when we sent the initial, heavily encrypted data burst, went into a frenzy. The response was swift and absolute. All drilling operations were to cease immediately. A full science and military vessel was being dispatched from Earth, the Magellan, but it would take them months to arrive. Our new primary objective: secure and study the anomaly. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to enter it. For a week, we obeyed. We were good soldiers. We mapped its exterior with our drones, creating a full 3D model. We bombarded it with every sensor we had: radar, LiDAR, gravimetric scanners. The ship remained a perfect black box. It was dead. No power, no radiation, no heat, no signals. A fossil from a forgotten age. It was Dr. Thorne, the quiet biologist, who found the way in. He wasn't looking at sensor data. He was looking at the object's aesthetics, its patterns. "The patterns on the hull," he said one evening, pointing at a high-resolution image on the main screen. "They are not random decorative swirls. They look like a star chart, but not of our sky. The constellations are wrong, and this one symbol here, near the tip, it repeats. It's not a decoration. It looks like a key or a locking mechanism." He was right. Near the vessel's pointed tip, a series of geometric symbols were arranged in a perfect circle. Using a drone equipped with a high-powered precision laser, we replicated the repeating symbol and traced it onto the ship's hull. For a moment, nothing happened. We held our breath. Then a low, deep hum vibrated through our outpost, shaking the very ice beneath our feet. On the screen, we watched in awe as a section of the ship's black surface shimmered, and a perfect circular opening dilated, revealing a dark, cavernous interior. It was an invitation. And our corporate orders suddenly felt very, very far away. Against every regulation, against every shred of common sense, we decided to go in. The potential for discovery was too great to let some desk jockey on Earth claim it. The boarding party was myself, Anya, and Thorne. Ben would stay behind, our eyes and ears, our lifeline to the surface. We descended the 800 meters in a reinforced exploration cage. The darkness of the borehole absolute, the only sound the whine of the winch. We landed on the ice floor of the massive cavern our thermal lance had carved out. The alien ship loomed before us, a silent, black monolith. The circular opening was a perfect void, beckoning us in. "Life support check," I ordered, my voice sounding small in the vast cavern. "Let's go. Stay sharp. We touch nothing unless absolutely necessary. Data collection only." We stepped through the portal. The interior was not what I expected. There were no corridors, no bridge, no engine room. It was one single, massive, cathedral-like chamber. The walls were made of the same light-absorbing black material, and they curved upwards into a darkness our suit lights couldn't penetrate. And the air? It was warm, humid, and smelled of wet earth and ozone. It was breathable. Impossible, but breathable. Our suit sensors confirmed it. The internal atmosphere is a rich oxygen-nitrogen mix, with complex organic compounds I've never seen before, Thorne reported, his voice a mix of scientific excitement and utter disbelief. This isn't a machine. It's a terrarium, a bioship. The floor wasn't metal. It was a soft, spongy, dark soil that seemed to give slightly under our boots, and growing from it were bizarre alien plants. They were bioluminescent, pulsing with a soft, hypnotic blue and green light, casting strange, shifting shadows. Some looked like crystalline fungi that grew in perfect geometric spirals. Others looked like spiraling, fern-like structures that gently swayed, despite the lack of any breeze. It was a silent, alien forest, sealed in a tomb of ice for millennia. We moved deeper into the chamber, our lights dancing across the strange flora. And then we saw them. Skeletons. Dozens of them, scattered amongst the plants. They were from a vaguely humanoid species, tall and slender, with elongated skulls and delicate three-fingered hands. They weren't wearing suits. They had died here, in their own atmosphere, in their own garden. No signs of violence, Anya noted, kneeling beside one of the skeletons, her geological tools repurposed for archaeology. The bones aren't broken. They look like they just lay down and died. All of them, as if they simply gave up. At the very center of the chamber, the strange plants parted to reveal what looked like an altar, a raised dais of the same black organic material. And on the altar lay a single, captivating object. It was a sphere, about the size of a human head. It was made of a smooth, milky white material, and it pulsed with a faint, internal golden light, like a heartbeat. It was the only thing in the entire ship that wasn't black or bioluminescent green. It was the clear focal point of the entire chamber. The heart of the ship? A power source? I wondered aloud. Thorne approached it cautiously, his hand scanner whirring. The readings made him take a step back. The energy readings are off the charts. It's biological, but also psionic. I'm reading structured, coherent thought patterns. It's a mind, a dormant, telepathic mind. As he spoke those words, the golden light within the sphere intensified. The low, deep hum we had heard before returned, but this time it was inside our heads. It wasn't a sound, it was a feeling of a deep, dreamless sleep slowly ending, a feeling of waking up, and a feeling of immense, gnawing, ancient hunger. And then, every bioluminescent plant in the chamber flared at once, their light turning from a soft, ambient blue to a predatory, angry red. The voice that spoke in our minds was not a voice. It was a wave of pure, ravenous intent, a psychic scream that was utterly devoid of nuance. Meat, fresh meat, awake, feed. The skeletons around us began to stir, not reanimating, but being pushed aside by the very ground they lay on. The alien plants, the crystalline fungi, started to move with unnatural speed, their tendrils and fronds unfurling and stretching towards us. We were not in a tomb. We were in a predator's stomach, and we had just woken it up. "Get back!" I yelled, pulling Thorne away from the altar. "Ben, get us out of here, now! Abort mission! The cage is coming down!" Ben's panicked voice screamed in our ears. "What the hell is going on down there?" The spongy soil-like floor began to ripple and shift. The plants were not individual organisms. They were appendages, tentacles and feeding orifices of a single, massive creature that was the ship's interior. We were inside a gargantuan, hibernating, carnivorous plant, a fly in a Venus flytrap the size of a building. Blue, crackling energy tendrils lashed out from the fungi on the walls, striking the ground near our feet. They weren't trying to hit us. They were hurting us, forcing us away from the exit, deeper into the chamber, towards a patch of flora that was pulsing more intensely. "It's playing with us," Anya shouted, firing her sidearm at one of the lashing tendrils. The plasma bolt hit it, and the tendril exploded in a shower of green goo, but two more immediately grew in its place. A white sphere on the altar pulsed again, brighter this time, a malevolent, intelligent light. The old meat was dry, brittle. This meat is warm. It thinks. It fears. Good. The hunger in our minds was a physical force, a pressure that made my vision swim. It wasn't just a desire for our bodies. It was a desire for our experience. It wanted to consume not just our flesh and bone, but our thoughts, our memories, our fear. "The sphere!" Thorn yelled, pointing a trembling finger, his scientific curiosity now replaced with pure terror. "It's the creature's ganglion, its central nervous system. If we can destroy it, we might be able to stop the rest of it." It was a desperate plan, but it was the only one we had. The exploration cage was still 100 meters away, and the path was blocked by a writhing forest of hungry appendages. "Anya, with me," I commanded. "We clear a path to the altar. Cover me." We opened fire. Our plasma rifles, designed for cutting through rock, tore through the alien flora, sending showers of glowing ichor across the chamber. We fought our way forward, step by agonizing step, the telepathic hunger in our heads growing with every pulse of the white sphere. I could feel it probing my mind, sifting through my memories, tasting my fear of the dark, my memories of loved ones on Earth, my regret, my hope. It was savoring my fear. We reached the altar. The white sphere pulsed with a triumphant golden light. It knew it had us. It had cornered its prey. I raised my rifle, aimed it at the center of the sphere, and pulled the trigger. The plasma bolt hit it dead on. But it didn't explode. The sphere simply absorbed the energy. The golden light inside it flared, and it pulsed with a new thought, a feeling of smug amusement. Energy. Good. More. Then from the base of the altar, a dozen thick black, thorny vines erupted and shot towards us with lightning speed. Anya, ever the protector, pushed me out of the way, taking the full force of the attack. The vines coiled around her, lifting her into the air. Her screams over the comm were cut short as the thorns pierced her suit and the creature began to feed. I saw it in my mind, a horrifying psychic torrent. I felt her life, her memories of studying ancient rocks on Earth, her secret love for Ben, her terror, all of it being drained away, consumed by the sphere in a single ecstatic gulp. It was a psychic vampirism of the most horrifying kind. Thorn grabbed my arm, pulling me back from my stunned horror. "It's too late for her. We have to run. Jorik, run!" Fueled by a fresh wave of rage and grief, I emptied my rifle's power cell into the writhing mass of vines, but it was useless. We turned and ran, scrambling over the shifting, heaving floor as the entire chamber convulsed around us. The cage was just ahead, its ramp now lowered, a tiny beacon of safety in the living hell. Ben was screaming our names over the comms, his voice filled with helpless terror. We dove inside just as a massive jaw-like appendage snapped shut behind us, its teeth of black crystal narrowly missing our feet. "Go, Ben, go!" I screamed, hammering the ascent button. The cage lurched upwards, pulling us out of the bioship. As we ascended, I looked down one last time. Anya's body, now limp and lifeless, was being drawn towards the altar, and the white sphere pulsed with a soft, contented golden glow. It had fed. We didn't even make it back to the outpost. As our cage reached the surface, a massive tremor shook the entire moon of Triton. Site Gamma erupted in a geyser of nitrogen and ice, 100 times larger than any we had ever seen. The ground beneath our habitat collapsed into a newly formed chasm, and a crack raced across the ice plain, swallowing our small outpost whole. Ben's screams over the comms were cut off by a final, deafening roar of static. And then, silence. We were stranded. Two survivors in a reinforced exploration cage on the surface of a frozen moon, with no habitat, no supplies, and no way home. Below us, in the dark, the creature we had awoken was stirring, its hunger sated for now, but not forever. It knew we were here. We could feel its patient, waiting thoughts brushing against our own. The rescue ship from Earth will arrive in 5 months. They will find a dead outpost and a new, massive, unexplained geyser. They will find our exploration cage and perhaps our frozen bodies inside. But I have to leave this message. I'm rigging the cage's emergency beacon to transmit this log on a repeating loop. A warning. Do not return to Triton. Do not drill at Site Gamma. Do not answer the invitation of the ship in the ice. Some things are buried for a reason. We are taught to see the universe as a source of endless wonder and discovery. But we were wrong. The universe is also a dark, hungry forest, filled with predators far older and wiser than we are. And we are just noisy, warm, frightened children wandering into their hunting grounds. And they have been sleeping for a very, very long time. We just served as their alarm clock.